put the country together, and he's a mentor, he's a friend. Brother Carl is just a man. Brother Carl, can you bless him with some words? What you feel about everything?
I want to thank everybody. This is important to me. That people really appreciate the work that you do. And it was interesting, John Britton called me and he said, you know, Brotha Carl, you know, me and John used to run every day, twice on Sunday. We did marathons together. I could never keep up with him, so I was always behind him. But it was interesting what he said. He said, it took your grandson life for people to recognize the work that you do. And I said, well, John, what do you mean? He said, because you know, I know, we've been together for 12 years since I've been in Harvard. And we ran the hood, and I know that you knew everybody from Charo Terrace to Dutch Point, to Martin Luther King, to Bellevue Square, to Sand, Nelton Court, Stowe Village, down the hill from the Ville. We ran the whole hood. And everybody would say, Brotha Carl, Brotha Carl, Brotha Carl. And it goes back to the work that you do, and you don't realize how important it is, the things that you do, whether people really appreciate it, because you just do it. Yeah. And they said, well, I said, well, my whole thing is I live for the sake of others. You know, I give for the sake of others. I don't ask for anything back, but the only thing I ask them, how I help you, that you would help someone else. And don't forget, that's all I ask of you. You know what I mean? What I'm giving to you, you give to someone else. And it was interesting how I got started in here. When I transferred from Colt Fire making guns, and I said, I can't be making guns. And I went up into South Austin Neighborhood Development saying Bellevue Square. Well, they had this big gang problem in the square. Well, of course, I grew up in the square, so it wasn't easy for me to navigate through there. The gang member, Steve Holter, you know. So we had a meeting, 2 people showed up. And I said, where's everybody? They said, Brotha Carl, we got a gang problem. We scared to come out. And when we come out, we scared to come back. I said, well, who is it? They said, they got this gang called the Magnificent 20. Well, I heard the Magnificent 20, but it was just 20 of them was Father Gill. Steve took it over, it was like 900 of them. And I'm like, wow. So I had to go out there, deal with Steve. I said, Steve, look, who's working with you? He said, nobody. I said, well, I need to change your behavior. And as I went out there, I got hooked up with Steve. But you know, when you approach a group like that, and you say you want to help them, then they're gonna call them. So they called me 2 o'clock in the morning. They called me 3 o'clock in the morning. I was always there for them. So they knew I was committed. They get in the problem with the gang up in Stowe Village called the Hustlers. Andrew was there because he was looking on the hill.
He looked on the hill
when we were bringing the 2 together.
Oh, Andrew wasn't in the fight?
No, I was watching him mediate the fight.
Well, I got 700 here. Well, we have brought 25 and 25 together and trying to get Lukey and Steve to sit down collectively, and then they agreed to sit down. And as they agreed to sit down, they said, well, we'll come down to South Austin Neighborhood Development. Steve, since you came up here. Then I get the call from Lukey, we ain't going down there, Brotha Carl, it's strong. We're not going down to Bellevue Square. So they met at Parker Center, 25, and brought it to the table, took it from being in the street to the table. I just thought I was doing what I was supposed to do. Stop a lot of young brothers from getting killed. And just based on that, my granddaughter called me.
He gotta go.
So yeah, they want to go to the mall.
But Carl, we're gonna wrap up.
So I'm only saying that the start was, that's how I got started. And the fact that the word had got out, because everybody knew these gangs were gonna fight, they knew lives was gonna be lost, but the fact that I was able to engage them, they got along with each other. And they had their differences, they agreed that if they had a beef, they would bring everybody in. And then Andrew can go up still without being jumped. Or he can go on the street, they can come down here. But that was my start. Now, my commitment to Steve is when my brother got hurt, and he got paralyzed on Barber Street. And I grew up with the sense of, my mother always told me, protect your family. Anything happen to y'all stick together. And he was paralyzed, and the only thing he kept saying was, you gotta get him. You know what I mean? You gotta get him. And I'm asking him what happened with tears in my eyes. So then I go out to get my guns, because I had something I had got from Coach. And Steve said, what are you doing, man? And I said, Steve, that's my brother, man. He said, but you telling us not to shoot, fight, kill anybody, and you gonna go out and do the same thing? And he said, well, if you're gonna do that, man, your word don't mean anything. And that's what I had to step back.
Wow, what a story. Now, Brother Carl, the question everybody want to ask you is, where you get them shoes from? But all jokes aside, we love them. But real quick, Francine is with Francine Entertainment and Marketing. Francine, you got some words for everybody? Now, Francine's known all over the country with her PR work. You want to say, let's give Francine a round of applause.